Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. The Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, established in 1848, was a collective of young British painters who sought to challenge the conventional and artificial historical painting style of the Royal Academy. They aimed to express a fresh moral seriousness and sincerity in their art. Their inspiration was drawn from Italian art of 14th and 15th centuries, particularly the direct and unadorned representation of nature seen in Italian paintings before the High Renaissance, especially pre-Raphaelite artists like Raphael. Despite its relatively short lived existence of less than 5 years, the Brotherhood left a profound impact on British painting as well as the decorative arts and interior design. The founding members of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood included Dante Gabriel Rossetti, a talented poet and painter, William Holman Hunt, and John Everett Millais, all of whom were under 25 years of age at the time of formation. They were later joined by James Collinson, F.G. Stephens, Thomas Woolner, William Michael Rossetti, and Dante Gabriel's brother. Additionally, the painters William Dyce and Ford Madox Brown, who acted as mentors to the younger artists, adapted their work to the Pre-Raphaelite style. The Brotherhood quickly produced compelling and significant works, often centered on religious and medieval themes, aiming to revive the profound religious sentiment and simple, unadorned style of 15th century Florentine Sienese painting. Hunt and Millais' style was characterized by vivid and precise lighting, clear atmospheres, and meticulous attention to fine details. They frequently infused personal poetic symbolism into their depictions of biblical and medieval subjects. In contrast, Rossetti's work had a more enigmatic aesthetic and a general lack of interest in faithfully reproducing the appearance of natural objects. Their early paintings were admired for their vitality and fresh vision. Some founding members initially exhibited their works anonymously, signing with the monogram PRB. When their true identities and youth were revealed in 1850, their art faced harsh criticism, notably from the novelist Charles Dickens, for its deviation from academic ideals of beauty and its seemingly irreverent treatment of religious themes with stark realism. However, the prominent art critic John Ruskin staunchly defended Pre-Raphaelite art, and the group always found patrons for their work. By 1854, the members of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood had pursued individual paths, yet their style continued to influence many artists during the 1850s and early 1860s. Dante Gabriel Rossetti later became associated with painters like Edward Burne-Jones and William Morris, moving towards a more sensual and almost mystical romanticism. Millais, the most technically skilled artist among them, enjoyed academic success. Hunt remained loyal to Pre-Raphaelite principles throughout most of his career, and in its later stages, Pre-Raphaelitism was characterized by artists like Burne-Jones with a jewel-toned palette, gracefully elongated figures, and imaginative subjects and settings. The Fleshly School. The Fleshly School was a term coined by Robert Buchanan to describe a group of poets, including Dante Gabriel Rossetti, William Morris, and Algernon Charles Swinburne. In an article titled The Fleshly School of Poetry, published in the Contemporary Review in October 1871, Buchanan accused these poets of creating works that he deemed immoral. He later expanded his critique into a pamphlet in 1872. However, Buchanan subsequently withdrew many of the criticisms he had made. This term sparked responses from the poets it targeted. Dante Gabriel Rossetti penned a letter to the Athenaeum on December 16, 1871, in which he responded to the accusations, titling it The Stealthy School of Criticism. Algernon Charles Swinburne also responded to Buchanan's critique in his work Under the Microscope, published in 1872. The controversy surrounding the Fleshly School highlights the debates and discussions in the literary and artistic circles of the time. Dante Gabriel Rossetti. Dante Gabriel Rossetti, often referred to as Dante, was a prominent English poet, illustrator, painter, translator, and a key figure in the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. He co-founded this artistic movement in 1848 along with William Holman Hunt and John Everett Millais. Rossetti played a pivotal role in inspiring the second generation of artists and writers influenced by the Pre-Raphaelite ideals, notably William Morris and Edward Burne-Jones. His work also had a profound impact on the European symbolists and served as a significant precursor to the aesthetic movement. Rossetti's artistic style was characterized by its sensuality and a strong revival of medieval themes. Early poets like John Keats and William Blake left a marked influence on his early poetry. In his later poetry, he developed a unique style characterized by intricate interweaving of thought and emotion, most notably seen in his sonnet sequence, The House of Life. Rossetti's work often involved a close connection between poetry and visual art. He frequently composed sonnets to accompany his paintings, spanning from works like The Girlhood of Mary Virgin to Astarte Syriaca. Additionally, he created art to illustrate poems such as Christina Rossetti's celebrated poem Goblin Market, written by his sister. Rossetti's personal life was closely entwined with his creative work, and particularly his relationships with the models and muses who inspired his art. His associations with figures like Elizabeth Siddal, whom he eventually married, and Fanny Cornforth and Jane Morris were influential in his life and art. The Blessed Damozel. The Blessed Damozel is one of Dante Gabriel Rossetti's most well known poems, and it's closely associated with his painting of the same name. This poem first appeared in 1850 in the Pre-Raphaelite journal, The Germ. Rossetti revisited the poem, making revisions, and published it again in 1856, 1870, and 73. The poem draws inspiration in part from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, a poem that portrays a lover grieving on earth for a departed loved one. Rossetti, however, chose to reverse this situation. In The Blessed Damozel, the poem presents the perspective of the damsel who observes her lover from the realm of heaven. Her yearning for a reunion with her beloved in the heavenly afterlife is a central theme of the poem. The verses from the first four stanzas of the poem are inscribed on the frame of Rossetti's painting, serving as a visual and poetic expression of the theme. William Morris. William Morris was a versatile artist and a prominent figure associated with the British arts and crafts movement. He made significant contributions to various fields, including textile design, poetry, literature, and activism. Morris played a crucial role in the revival of traditional British textile arts and production techniques. He also made substantial literary contributions, helping to establish the modern fantasy genre and promoting socialist ideas in late 19th century Britain. Morris's career was multifaceted. He rented Kelmscott Manor in Oxfordshire in 1871, where he was influenced by his visits to Iceland with Eirkir Magnusson. His interest in Icelandic sagas led him to produce English-language translations of these works. He achieved literary success with his epic poems and novels such as The Earthly Paradise, A Dream of John Ball, News from Nowhere, and The Well at the World's End. In 1877, Morris founded the Society for the Protection of Ancient Buildings, an organization dedicated to preserving historical architecture and opposing the damage caused by architectural restoration. He also embraced Marxism and was influenced by anarchism during 1880s, becoming a dedicated revolutionary socialist activist. Morris founded the Socialist League in 1884 and later established the Kelmscott Press in 1891 to publish limited edition illuminated style printed books. William Morris is widely regarded as one of the most influential cultural figures of Victorian Britain. Although best known as a poet during his lifetime, he gained posthumous fame for his design work. The William Morris Society, founded in 1955, is dedicated to preserving his legacy, and numerous biographies and studies have been published about his life and work. Many of the buildings associated with Morris are open to visitors. His work is displayed in art galleries and museums, and his designs continue to be produced and appreciated. News from Nowhere is a notable work that blends utopian socialism and soft science fiction, authored by William Morris. Originally published in serial form in the Commonwealth Journal in 1890, the novel presents a vision of a future society characterized by common ownership and democratic control of the means of production. In this utopian world, there is no private property, large cities, authority, monetary systems, marriage, divorce, courts, prisons, or class distinctions. The society thrives as people find pleasure in nature and take joy in their work. The novel delves into various aspects of this utopian society, including its organization and the interpersonal relationships. Morris's narrative combines elements of Marxism with the Romance tradition, as the protagonist William Guest finds himself in a transformed world. News from Nowhere offers answers to common objections to socialism, emphasizing the abolition of private property and the blurring of lines between art, life, and work as integral aspects of the socialist ideal. Morris's work presents a compelling vision of a more equitable and harmonious future.